Hey, thanks for stopping by the Technidyne virtual trade show and for expressing an interest in learning a bit more about the ColorTouchX. Now, Technidyne introduced the ColorTouch product line in 1994, and since 1994, we've had some version of a ColorTouch in our product mix. Originally, it was the original ColorTouch, then we had the ColorTouch 2, then we introduced the ColorTouch PC, and now we have the ColorTouchX in our product mix today. With each iteration, each evolution of the ColorTouch instrument, there's been a couple things that have been very critical in that process. One, and most important, is it continued to meet the ISO standards. And there's a whole group of ISO standards that relate to how this instrument measures and captures the light coming off the sample. So today's ColorTouchX is just like the original ColorTouch we had, as well as some instruments previous to that, and so they all meet the same ISO standards, which means we've got a sphere that sits right here. We've got a loaded sample down here. We've got a photo detector sets above the sphere looking directly at it, so it's diffuse illumination, 0-degree viewing, and that's how the ISO standards are written, to be able to measure ISO brightness, color, fluorescence, whiteness, and a lot of those properties. So this instrument meets the same standards as previous instruments have. Secondly, and equally as important, is that with each evolution of the instrument, we improve the performance of the instrument as well as we improve the operator interface of the instrument. So today's ColorTouchX does that a couple different ways. In previous versions of the ColorTouch, we would capture the data from 400 to 700 nanometers, which is the visible spectrum, and we would measure and capture that data and do our color calculations and everything based on that. Well, with the ColorTouchX, we've improved the light capturing capability of the instrument. So now we're able to measure down to 360 nanometers and up to 780 nanometers, which gives us a broader range of data with that. And in addition to that, we're able to parse that data up at a much tighter interval than we have in the past. So actually today's instrument, the ColorTouchX, has a 4 times greater resolution of data than we had with previous versions of the ColorTouch. Well, what all that means to you as the operator of the instrument, as the user of the instrument, is that the goal in game of that is that we'll be able to get better repeatability, reproducibility out of the new ColorTouchX than we've been able to do in the past with the instrument. From an operator point of view, we've stuck with the concept that we introduced with the original ColorTouch, which was the auto measure concept, which predefines your test sequence. Because when you're making brightness or color or opacity or area measurements, there are a lot of options that you can have when you make a measurement. So with the auto measure sequences, we can define what test are you doing as an operator. Is it just brightness? Is it brightness and opacity? Is it color difference? Is it fluorescence? Is it area? Whatever it might be, you can predefine that test sequence in one of the auto measures. And in that process, you define the source, you define the illuminated observer, you define the color space, so that when the operator is completing the test, everything is reporting in the correct data format, okay? So you don't have to worry about, did they do this on the right illuminated observer, because that's all predefined in the test sequence. So to operate the instrument, choose the test auto measure that I want, and you can name those however you want to name them. I'll load the sample. I can go back to my home test screen. Here I've got brightness and LAB, L star, A star, B star, whiteness, yellowness, tint, under illuminate D6510 and source D65. Hit the measure button. That initiates the test sequence, and after that test sequence is done, the instrument automatically displays the data in the proper format, again under the illuminated observer and the source that you've chosen for it. And so you have that data here, and from an operator point of view, might write that down, might do a comparison with that data, might send that data off to the mill system. They can drop that data onto a thumb drive, they can print that data, or they can delete that data. So you complete the test, you have all that data here, and once that data is completed, you can choose to measure again and do another test. You can navigate away from the screen, go do another auto measure, and come back to this later when that grade comes back in again. If I want to do multiple tests over several samples and I want to see that data, I can choose the statistics tab, and with that I can see all the statistical data up top, the average, high, low, standard deviation data. Then I can scroll down below that and see the individual intermediate data points. If I want to see the trending of that data, so let's say I'm interested in how this grade is performing over time. Well, I can look at any of the calculated data, so brightness, L star, A star, B star, opacity, whiteness, yellow, whatever or again, whatever I'm calculating on that screen, I can look at how that grade is running over time based on the trending data. Or if I'm keenly interested in really understanding the nuances of the color that I'm creating with that, I can choose the spectral data tab, and I can see all the spectral data from 360 to 780 nanometers and really understand where the absorption characteristics are of the dyes that I'm using in my sheet. So a lot of capabilities there, but we try to keep the operator interface very simple and get you the data that you need to make decisions out on your machine floor. So that is a real quick overview of the ColorTouch. Hope that answered some of your questions, but I'm sure you have more. So don't hesitate giving us a call. We love enjoying working with our customers to help you see the benefit of how the ColorTouchX can improve your processes. So give us a shout. We'll talk it through. If you'd like to have a demo, we can do that online, or we can bring the instrument to your mill and spend the day running samples and evaluating the instrument, how it can help you improve your processes. Anyway, guys, thanks for stopping by. Hope you have a good day. Take care.